In this video, we're going to talk about using the data table feature of the what if analysis. A data table allows you to substitute values and get a report. So the two that we have here, this is a future value of money with a monthly payment. So in one table, we're going to just alter the term or the years invested. In a next table, we're going to actually have two. We're going to have the years invested and the amount per month. So if we look at this, our average rate of return is 5%. We have 10 years that we're investing. We're putting in $200 a month. And after 10 years, it should grow using compound interest to $31,056.46. So we want to see how would our future value vary if we change the various terms of the loan. So really, when working with the data table, you want to think that there is an input and an output. If you're doing a one variable data table, you have one input and you could have multiple outputs. Here we're just doing future value, but you could have other options as well if you wanted to have multiple outputs. So what we need to do is set up our table that I've already done for us. We have the years 5 through 50. So what will it be after 5 years, 10 years? This means that we didn't start with anything and we're not touching the money. But now we want to say, well, what do I want to see here? So we go up here to D12 and we actually want to see the results of this computation, which is B7. So we just type in equal B7 and that will just return basically the future value. I think I must have named that. That's weird. So then what we can do, oh, I know where this came from. We can go up to custom, go down to more number formats, and we actually have a custom format. So here I just typed in future value with double quotes. If you wanted, if I type in 3 semicolons and click OK, then it's just blank. So let's bring back future value. It's really up to you as to what you want to put in there. So it's under custom, double quotes, future value, double quotes, and then that will put the title here. I had the one variable table here just so you know what it was. So now what we do is we highlight the column of input, which is our 5 through 50, and we have our cell formula here that will tell Excel that I want to see the future value as we vary the years invested from 5 years to 50 years. So to actually work through the data table, we go to data, go to what if analysis, and go to data table. And this shows you that you have the ability to do a 2 variable data table or a 1 variable. You do 1 variable if you just fill in one spot here. So we're going to click on column because our years is in the column of this table. And now we need to tell Excel, well, where will I plug those values? Well, that is actually before it's the number of years invested. And we click OK. And you can see that it already did the I had it already formatted. So after 5 years, you'll have $13,601. And after 50 years, you should have $533. Now, fortunately, this is an actual dynamic table. So if I come over here and say, well, what if I put in $500 a month? And you'll see how it will change. You have over $1 million after 50 years. So we can still, I'll put this back to 200. So we can change any of these. Oh, well, let's say I have an 8% return. So you just change it to 8. The change in the value of 10 will affect this file, but it won't, or this field, but it won't really affect this because this column is overriding that. So whatever you have here, let's put this back to 5 years. You could actually do, and in the next video we'll talk about this, we'll do scenario managers where you could vary the monthly contribution and the return rate and make 4 or 5 different scenarios based on that. Okay, so our next example is a 2-variable data table. This is where we're going to actually fill in the row and the column when we choose data table. So just to go over this, the row is the years invested, so that is B4, and the column is the amount per month. So we vary the amount per month from 50 to 500. Now, this is when you start, you're going to say, I want to do $500 every month for however many years. It's not like you can vary them in the middle. We're not going that fancy. So we still need to tell Excel what to put here. So in the upper corner where the row and the column meet, that's blank. This is G12. We're going to type in equal, and again, we want to see what the future value holds. So that's where we'll type in equal B7. We hit enter. I've already made it blank by going to Home, Custom, and doing more, and then doing my type with the three semicolons. So now to complete, we have our input, which are the row and the column, and we know what our output is. We put that in G12. So now we're going to highlight those cells. We go to Data, What If Analysis, and we'll go to Data Table. And now we're going to have to fill in each option here. So the row corresponds to the years. This is the 5, 10, all the way to 30. So that will be, no, not that. That will be B4. Now, you'll notice that when I clicked on B4, it made it absolute. I could have just typed in B4. The absolute's not required. The column is the amount that we contribute monthly. So that is B5. So you'll see it mixes up the absolutes. And that's okay. The absolutes are not required. So if we click OK, we can now see that after 30 years, for $500, we'd have $416,000. And to test that, you can go over here to the years and type in 30 and the monthly 500, and you'll see that 416,000. It's as a way to do a couple of these just to make sure that it's working properly. So for 15 years, 133,000. Yeah, it did 133,000. So with the data table, you have the option of varying one variable or changing one variable or changing 2 variables. And when you do the one variable, you could actually have multiple outputs. This one really wouldn't give us any example of doing that. So that is working with data tables.